Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. Bottom left hand corner we got Wizards starting as the light blue Zerg. Upper left hand corner we got Worst starting as the white Protoss. Looks like Overlord is headed towards the top left here initially. We are on Polestar this time, and Wizard is one game away from being eliminated from BSL 21 Gosuleague Tier 2, and on the opposite end, Worst is one game away from advancing to the final. So heavy contention. It is. We'll see if Wizard has something crafty up his sleeve. Right now, Worst has really been dominating it. Wizard's macro has been more solid, which has pushed the games past the midpoint, but Worst's army engagements have been phenomenal and just really outclassing Wizard in open engagement, which has basically been pushing Worst to victory across the board, both in game 1 and game 2. Also, the Psystorm drops, there really hasn't been an answer here from Wizard. Hasn't really had Scourge in place, has lacked air control at various places, so things are kind of looking dicey for Wizard overall. Probe looks like it's going to get first scout. Didn't check for the pocket of the Overlord, but is going to be able to make its way bottom left and see the creep line. Next question, is Worst going to go all the way in? Because there are ways of scouting this and drawing back. It looks like he is going to stay. Interesting, we had a gas drop and a cancellation to get the extra drone out, which suggests we're going to see a little bit more. Well, let's see how this plays out. Usually you do that to get a little bit more of a stable economy off what am I looking for? Off one base, I should say. And there are build orders that are usually it's more aggression that plays out of this. Heavier Zergling plays in the early stages, larger investments therein. That's the word I'm looking for. In the meantime, the drone faking as though it's going to the natural, and we do indeed have 6 Zerglings being built before the hatchery. Wizard drawing back, trying to tempt, is able to tempt Worst out to the corner here. I think this is intentional to make it look like, oh no, I'm not grabbing a base here. Looks like Wizard is going to go ahead and draw across, likely going to grab that here at the 6 o'clock. Are the Zerglings going to go all the way across now? We got 2 cannons dropping. It looks like Worst well aware of the potential Zergling. Yeah, and the Zergling's just making the way. Wanted to get some damage, cancel the pylon there at the natural expansion. We have more Zerglings, no additional Zerglings being built. Looks like after forcing those 2 cannons, they're gonna, well, okay, now they're drawing back. So drew back. I'm gonna be able to catch that probe. Maybe. Wizard has also not done a great job assailing the scouting of the scouting probes of Worst. We're just going to go ahead and draw back in the midst of this. He has that Nexus and Gateway along the way, sending that probe back around. The Zerglings a little concerned about a potential cannon play at the 6 o'clock, so checking that location. Worst recognizes there's no third at the 9, so is basically by process of elimination going to assume that that expansion is at the 6. I think he's going to draw that probe all the way across to make absolutely sure. In the meantime, yeah, Zergling's just really concerned about potential cannon rush. That probe has been scouted here, making its way into the 6 o'clock. See if Worst can maneuver his way out. Unfortunately not. So we'll need to press Zealots ahead if he's going to get additional confirmation on this. Overlord's sitting in the main to go ahead and get the additional scouting information. Cybernetics core on the way. Teching to lair for Wizard, so it doesn't look like he's going to go for a Hydralisk bus. I think this was the map. If I was going to look for a Hydra bust out of Wizard, this would be the map to do it. Natural expansion up for Worst. Transferring those workers. Going to go ahead and drop that Cybernetics core and play from there. No additional Zerglings, but the Overlord's starting to make their way out. We do have another probe that's made its way out into the map here from Worst. Has made it past Overlord vision. Looks like it's going to field back in. Are the Zerglings going to make their way out? Yeah, okay. Going to go ahead and make their way out and try to engage. Should be able to swarm. What is revealed here is a lack of Zergling speed, which eliminates a number of possibilities for Worst, which is specifically a Zergling bust right here. It's less likely that it was going to be a Hydra bust as well. So might feel a little bit more optimistic. We'll see if that turns into a +1 weapons upgrade. I would be a bit shocked if that were the case. Zergling loses its life to the 2 cannons. out on the edge. Another pylon dropping just in case. Spire construction underway from Wizard, and he is surging up to a hefty drone count, is as typical of him. No +1 weapons invested here from Worse, so it looks like he's just going to play, and he did drop a second assimilator here. So maybe going to go for faster High Templar. Tends to be in vogue these days. Maybe a Dark Templar, but more like we have the Citadel of Adun down. More likely, faster Dark Templar with more Psy Storm, able to push back an attack and maybe get out onto the map a little bit more rapidly. 4th hatchery dropped for Wizard at the natural expansion. So looking more previous meta, the Corsair wandering across a little bit. It almost sat there and acted like it was surprised. It almost looked like that Corsair was disappointed to not see Hydralisks marching away across the map. But with the timing of the Spire, might be able to get on Overlord. Hydralisk Den dropped just to spot, poking away at the Overlord near side. I think it should be able to score this kill before Scourge is really able to get anything accomplished. And 3 Zealots also marching across the map fairly early from Worst. The Zerglings streaming across, able to draw them back. They were on A move. That's dead. Some Zerglings being constructed, but no Scourge. And right now, Wizard supply blocked. The Zealots exiting as the additional Zerglings are chasing them down. They now have Zergling speed. But Worst got done what he wanted to get done. Got that Overlord kill, got the supply block. Might have opportunity to get additional supply, knock additional supply off. Also got some pretty good trades on the Zerglings, and a very damaged Zealot will make it back to home base to go ahead and recharge its shields. So pretty considerable victory there as well. So Wizard's economy slowed down a bit. He does have a pretty decent drone count here at 33. Let's see if he surges all the way to 40. Is going to go for a faster... This is kind of... so going to go for fast Overlord speed. This is a little bit late for Soma-esque. I think a lot of Zerg players have been mimicking kind of what Soma's doing off the 5 hatcheries and showing the Hydralisk Den and the Spire, as though that's sufficient enough to... But really, I feel like the crux of that build is to attack in this window here, the 7:15 to about 8:15 window, or actually really 6:30 to 7:15 window. Just start building right there and charge, because this is when Protoss are looking to drop their gateways, and they have to choose between the gateways and the cannons on this timing with the 2 base, where they've surged right around the 44 worker count. So you get all the workers down, but then you got to make the choice, cannons or gateways. And if you continue up the pressure off 5 bases and a pretty decent drone count, you can oftentimes just swarm it from there. As a side note, I just want to note that via observation from ASL Finals, Dark Templar has snuck through the lines here at the 6 o'clock. We do have an Overlord defending there, and some Overlords covering along that location. Looks like that Dark Templar did manage to get 2 Zergling kills out on the map. Corsairs, by the way, have made their way back across. The Scourge held up short. The Dark Templar, at the very least, will be able to scout and maybe hold here at the 9 o'clock to later provide some support by denying a base. Going up to 8 gateways overall here from Worst. Is he going to drop more than that? I think 8 is about your max. And we do have some High Templar out here. I was expecting these guys to be on the field a little bit earlier with that faster second gas. Zergling's going to go ahead and sprint back and occupy potential additional expansions to provide forewarning here. Wizard with a very healthy worker count once again. Just grabbing his 3rd gas at the 6 o'clock location. Doesn't have Lurker Tech research just yet. Is working on it. Corsair fielding forward to see if they can get some additional scouting information or pick things off. They're going to see few, well, they're not going to see the Hydralisks making the way. This is so Wizard going for that assault, but it's coming pretty late. And is this just a position to find the Corsairs? We're just going to go ahead and scramble back with the Zealots he had. Yeah, I think Wizard kind of going to looking to crash against this front. Let's see if this turns into a crash or if it turns into a defensive contain. But this is exposing a lot of Hydralisks at the near side to Psystorm, and a bit potentially unnecessarily. Let's see if they spread out a little bit, but this is very, very Psystormable. The Zealots were marching out. +1 weapons complete, by the way. And we're just going to go ahead and sit back. He's already got the observatory on the way and a second forge as well. +1 armor almost complete. We do have that additional base. It looks like Wizard marching out with some additional Hydralisk, actually keeping a pretty sizable attack count, and nice movement right there to go ahead and clear out that base. The Corsair want to stay at the near side to see whether an additional base is getting grabbed or not. And Wizard marching up again. Okay, we do have a few lurkers here in the back. More lurkers just full on morphing in the front of this. And now we do have a sort of soft contain here. I think Scourge landed on a Corsair piece. They might be able to provide some forward scouting at the very least. +2 armor now queued up. A shuttle out. Is he going to scoop up some High Templar again? Looks maybe a Dark Templar, some Zealots? Dark Templar Zealots going to make their way out to the north. I think this might get spotted by something, though. There's just a lot that could spot it. Corsair going to provide some forward scouting. This gateway under a sail. Where's the Observer? Was expecting... Okay, there's the Observer. Making its way across. Corsair, yeah, providing some info. Is he going to drop a Zealot here at the... Overlord's dying. Overlord also going to scout. I think this is kind of cute. So Wizard trying to defend against the dropship along that 9 o'clock route, but in the meantime, here's the shuttle that's already made its way out into the map. Another Overlord going to get picked off out there. 4th base on the way for Wizard a lot later than the previous. He does have the worker lead, however, and he does have a soft contain, but with 8 Psystorms, 9 how many is this? Shouldn't have done the math live. 75, 125. So 4 apiece, 4, 8, 12, 16. 16 Psystorms, approximately. Is that right? Might be wrong. 16 Psystorms. I'm going to say that's 16 Psystorms to work with. It could easily peel through this. Not a lot of Dragoons, though. Not a lot of Dragoons. But never mind. A lot of Dragoons to the north, and now that front's been opened up as well. This is going to turn into an epic clash. More Overlords dying, by the way. It looks like the Scourge have found the shuttle at the 6 o'clock. Much better defense this time. And it looks like Hydralisk's waiting for those Corsair as well. So they're quickly going to be wiped off the map. This actually might turn into a victory from Wizard now, if he because he's got... If he moves an Overlord up here to investigate, he can reposition a lot of these Hydralisks. We got the full lurker line, which is weird. They kind of are showing up underneath here. And this is going to be challenging for Worst, yeah, to position properly. Although, again, the question will be the Psystorms. Good Psystorm right there. So 1 Hydralisk bunch down. Another one moving out. Another good Psystorm from Worst. Going to catch the edge of that lurker, as well as a good amount of the Hydralisk. And I don't think Wizard jumping on this army in a manner that's going to be effective. So Worst just steadily peeling his way out of this. 4th base not mining, by the way. More Psystorm. An Observer has been picked off, but we still have another Observer out on the field. And Wizard again, well, it's going a little bit better for Wizard in this engagement compared to the previous matches. But we're still showing that in the open field engagements, he seems to reign. He's done a really, really good job of clearing things out. We were at even supply, which is usually great for Zerg. And here he's going to end with a nearly 10 supply lead. Lost the Observer right there to his own Psystorm, unfortunately. So will need to draw back, but he's got some more Observers to regroup. Wizard refilling that supply quite rapidly, but as is Worst. Worst has that troop. He's going to find some lurkers in the midst of being morphed. Here to the 3 o'clock. Another Observer picked off. Wizard doing a pretty good job of sniping these Observers. But Worst at the same time doing a good job of keeping them fielded. Lurkers spawning. Again, not able to get a shot off before they're dispatched. And a lot of Overlords being offered up, and Wizard again faltering in open field combat versus Worst. Worst will need to clear out that Lurker and that Zergling here to the north, but this base is just sitting there, hasn't been mining this entire time, might be exposed to a kill. Worst can still actually just sit and engage troops that are coming piecemeal, finding more Lurkers in open field, forcing at least one cancellation. Zergling streaming their way across. A beautiful side storm going to catch 3 Lurkers and some Zerglings to boot. And Wizard's supply once again plummeting below Worst. How's Worst upgrade? +2/+2, and we don't have nearly the same level of upgrades on the opposite end, nor the sufficient Hydralisk bulk to really make the difference here. Looks like there was an attempted tech to Hive, but all of a sudden we don't have any army on the ground for Wizard, so easy kill here for Worst, which can just leave the Zealots there and posit the rest of his army down here. Some Overlords marching this direction. I don't know that Overlords are going to be all that threatening. We have +2 weapons on the Hydralisks, which is something, but it's just not in a large enough spread or number to really make a difference. And it looks like this is once again going to be a convincing Worst victory. Regrouping, we have some Lurkers trying to defend themselves near the sunken colonies. Once again bunched up and just going to get obliterated by Psystorm. And I think that should be game, as drones, nothing but bloodstains on the ground now. Hydralisks, Lurkers, everything else just getting devastated. Hydralisk Den is now gone, so that will be that. Defiler Mount, yeah, GG from Wizard. Worst ever manner leaves the question mark. He will advance to the final to play Nesh in a really strong showing here against Wizard. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.